auto sector, agriculture, even I would say some of the sort of broader commodities, anything to do with that's very dependent on China demand for us is still sectors that we definitely don't want to go into. And then also parts of the consumer side. Yes, there's been pockets that's been really strong, but if you look at certain areas like travel, Airbnb, for example, coming through with disappointment, luxury stocks really still struggling. So those are areas that we are still very cautious on. And just given what we have seen over the last few months is an increase in volatility and an increase in uncertainty. Yes, we all expect the Fed to start cutting now, so it's all about how far and how deep they will cut and how fast. But the concerns are still out there around increased geopolitical risks and so forth, and of course also the US elections. So we have been adding to sort of more of the defensive exposure over the last few months. Companies like Coca-Cola, Merck, we've also added to Costco. So we do have sort of a balanced approach going into the rest of the year. So we have our core growth companies that we continue to like. We have some cyclical exposure and then also defensives of late.
You mentioned those geopolitical tensions, and of course we've seen some downward earnings revisions in the energy sector as well. How do you assess that space?
Yes, so currently we've actually reduced all our exposure out of the energy sector. Yes, there's definitely some reasons for the energy price to remain pretty high if you think about the geopolitical risks, but for us it's all about the earnings and what they can generate. And if you look at the last reporting season, energy was probably the sector with the worst earnings revisions of all, and that sort of leaves us on the sidelines for the moment. So that's not a space we are currently chasing, but we all know as the economy starts to lift off again, cyclicals will benefit, and that's one of the key sectors that always rise when you get there. But for now, growth is still relatively soft, and it's not a space where we are hurrying into at the moment.
Just taking a look at your sort of defensives over the past few months, what does that, I guess, tell you about your expectations for the economy for households, right? At the moment, you know, obviously some clarity being given to the Fed's path forward, but there's still a bit of a debate as to whether we're in for a soft landing, maybe a soft landing with a soft recession. How do you sort of view that?
So I think if you look at the consumer confidence numbers that you've just sort of highlighted there, that's actually up a lot. And I think it's because 75% of households in the US actually have a mortgage rate below 5%. And that's probably why you haven't really seen a lot happening in the US housing cycle. But it has given consumers a lot more money to spend on other things. For us at the moment, it's really just an environment where we would prefer to stay in the more staple side rather than the pure discretionary side. So something like a Costco or a Coca-Cola are fantastic companies where we feel there's sort of underlying demand, very strong brands. They've changed a lot of their underlying business dynamics, particularly Coca-Cola has done quite a few things throughout COVID, and we think the market's underestimating some of those strategic changes. So we're happy to stick with those sort of companies for the moment, and we are doing a lot of work on the sidelines to see when and how the time comes to be ready to pounce on some of those more discretionary names.
Alfreda, always great to chat with you. We appreciate your time today. Alfreda Yonko is a client portfolio manager and investment specialist at Alfinity Investment Management. You can catch our exclusive interview with the NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, after those results. He joins Ed Ludlow for Bloomberg Technology's special coverage of NVIDIA on August 28 in the US, or 6:30 a.m. if you're watching out of Hong Kong on Thursday.
And Heidi, there's a new development in the takeover battle brewing between the owners of Circle K and 7-Eleven. Bloomberg has learned that 7 & I is attempting to get Japanese government oversight of Couche-Tard's bid, which could derail plans for the country's biggest foreign takeover. Our chief North Asia correspondent, Stephen Engel, has more on this. And Steve, so 7 & I wants to be treated as a company in these critical security risk areas such as aerospace, nuclear energy, and rare earths.
And rare earths, Yeah, that's the interesting part of this. I mean, obviously, when this news of the deal, which Couche-Tard of Canada has described as being a friendly, non-binding offer, there hasn't been a lot said by either side, other than, of course, Seven & I has appointed an independent board of outside directors to kind of assess this bid. But this is giving us, if what the sources are saying is true, kind of a window into the thinking of Seven & I, that perhaps Ryuichi Isaka, the president and CEO, and the board are sort of lacing up their boxing gloves for a potential fight with the backing, they hope, of the Japanese government. That's where it would be very interesting if the Japanese government sort of comes to their aid in what could be a protracted fight. We'll have to see. Basically, Seven & I, according to the sources, is seeking core status for its company from the Japanese government under the Foreign Exchange and Foreign Trade Act. That would be an upgrade from non-core designation under the law. That would mean, if they get granted that, the Ministry of Finance of Japan would have to vet any entity that is seeking to buy at least a 10% stake in another company that is designated as core. So that's why this is a core consideration, obviously, for Seven & I if they want to rebuff this bid. Because you're absolutely right, Sherry. I mean, core companies, that designation is usually in areas, sectors that have national security implications. You mentioned that. Anything to do with the military, rare earths, nuclear power, and the like. Are convenience stores in that same category? Well, that's the big argument. And the thing that, according to the sources, that Seven & I is arguing is that they provide essential services, food and supplies, essentially with a 21,000 plus stores all across Japan, open 24 hours a day. They provide these services and essentials at a time of natural disasters. They also do official document services. You can get official documents through Seven & I. They also have banking services and the like. These services and these stores you're seeing here are ubiquitous across Japan. But is it a core business? We'll have to see whether, of course, the Japanese government designates that.
And this is something of a litmus test for the Japanese government, right? Because they have taken protectionist positions in the past. So much of the sort of, market exuberance on Japan this time around are expectations of a more open regulatory environment.
Well, yeah, this is another very interesting. That's why we're really fascinated with this story, because again, the backside of this as well is that Value Act Capital, an activist investor, has been fighting for a long time to get Isaka and the board to basically unlock shareholder value for the core business of Seven & I. Seven & I is 7-Eleven, and the merger with Ito Yokodo, their department store that has been underperforming, and they've already, in April, said that they're going to look for a potential separate listing. So they are listening, but they have not acquiesced to the demands necessarily of a total split up of this company that Value Act Capital has called for. But that the base of this is, Couche-Tard has 9 times more enterprise value per store, and it's a much smaller company, but it has a much bigger market cap than Seven & I. So again, shareholders might say this offer from Couche-Tard makes a lot of sense. But again, will there be protectionist sentiment coming from Japan? Because in 2008, concerns over power supply and nuclear energy led Japan, for example, to block the London-based Children's Investment Fund from buying stakes in J-Power. So you're absolutely right, Heidi. There have been instances of protectionist behavior on the part of regulators in Japan. But they also have new corporate guidelines in Japan aimed at injecting more vigor into corporate Japan through improved governance and protections for investors. So that's why we're going to have to really look at this very closely to see what side the government takes on this.
Our Chief North Asia correspondent Stephen Engel there joining us with the latest on all of the twists and turns on the Seven & I saga, which, of course, we'll continue to watch. Coming up on the Asia Trade, U.S.-China relations in focus as National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan visits Beijing. We'll also get more of the market outlook with Invesco as traders await NVIDIA's earnings and find out how AI is impacting the world's call center capital as outsourcing companies in the Philippines turn to bots. We have plenty more ahead. This is Bloomberg.
stocks. Watch Bloomberg Real Yield every Friday right here on Bloomberg. Context changes everything. Bloomberg covers the world with unmatched reach and resources. From more than 120 countries, the moment news breaks, 24 hours a day. Bloomberg, context changes everything. The countdown is on. Everything you need to get the edge at the end of the market day.
Big tech earnings kick off later this afternoon.
Gilead is coming out right now.
We have Take-Two numbers. Back to the markets, right? Our bread and butter.
NVIDIA is one of the best stories in the tech space.
That actually matters a whole lot more.
It might shock some of your viewers.
You're watching The Close.